you're not busy. You're just repeating yourself because from outside it looks like progress, but internally nothing is really changing. How many times did you explain the same thing differently to different people? And why? That should not depend on me. Things don't just become faster, they become consistent because clarity scales, confusion doesn't. And this is just a surface problem. The deeper issue is this. If you keep explaining the same thing again and again, you're not busy. You're just repeating yourself. And most professionals mistake repetition for growth. Because from outside, it looks like progress, more clients, more conversations, more activity, but internally, nothing is really changing. Now, before we go deeper into this, hi, I'm Manisha Rawat, and welcome to Attorney Speaks. This is where we talk about real work, real systems, and what actually helps you grow, not just stay busy. And if you want to go deeper into building structured work or scalable systems, you can check out my courses in the link description below. Now, here is the real issue. Think about your last few days of work. How many did you answer the same question? How many times did you explain the same thing differently to different people? And how many times did you restart something you've already done before? That's not work. That's repetition. And here is the most important part people miss. If your work keeps on repeating, your business is not scaling. It is just looping. And that realization changed how I started looking at everything. Because the real question is not how do I handle more work? The real question is what am I actually going to do again and again and why? That should not depend on me. And the answer is surprisingly similar. Almost every business repeats the same thing, explaining what they do, answering common questions, delivering a predictable process, and that's it. But instead of structuring these, we handle them manually every single time. So the shift is simple. Don't increase effort, change the delivery. Instead of explaining things differently every time, you create one clear way of explaining them. And instead of answering the same questions repeatedly, I think it's better to structure the answers once. And instead of figuring out the entire process again and again, define it clearly. And something is interesting, that is going to happen. Things don't just become faster, they become consistent. And consistency is what actually scales. Because clarity scales, confusion doesn't. And this is just a surface problem. The deeper issue is this. Most people don't notice how much time they lose starting from zero. They read the same emails, same workflows, same execution patterns, and build again every single time. And that's where the growth actually stalls and silently slows down because you're not building on what exists. You are rebuilding it. So instead of starting from scratch, create a repeatable structure. Not a rigid template, but a reliable starting point where, it gets good. People think I don't customize everything, quality will drop, blah, blah, blah. But the opposite is true. When everything is customized, nothing scales because now everything depends on fresh thinking, every task needs attention, and every decision needs time. And slowly you become the bottleneck. So the goal is not to remove thinking. The goal is to remove repetitive thinking. Once that shift happens, work starts to feel different and more activity doesn't feel overwhelming. Most clients don't create chaos because the systems can handle it. And that's a real definition of scale, not doing more, but repeating smarter. So if you feel like you are doing something repeatedly but not really moving forward, ask yourself this question. What am I still doing manually that could be structured once? Because the moment you fix that, you don't just grow, but you actually scale. And if this video make you think or rethink how you work, make sure you subscribe, share this with someone who's stuck in the same loop, and tell me in the comments below, what is one thing you keep repeating every single day that might be your biggest opportunity to grow?